Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me at the back? Okay, good. Yeah. It's very tough to do a session before coffee break, so please bear with me. Before I introduce my panel, I want to introduce myself. My name is Anton. I run a game studio in Jakarta from Touch 10. We have over 30 games in mobile, mobile only. And today I'll be moderating. I'm very honored to be here alongside the industry expertise. And without further ado, I think I'm just going to run down, make them introduce themselves so that you guys will know who they are. They're already famous, but for those of you who doesn't know, it's their time to tell a little bit about yourself, your name, what you're working on, I mean, your company that you represent, and also your favorite game. Your favorite game. Okay? Go ahead. Shieny, please.
Thank you, Anton. Not as famous as you. Okay.
No.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm so honored to be here. So, like self-introduction and favorite game. Eh? You didn't say about that, so like.
Sure.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, I'm from Agate Studio. So we are one of the game company that is same old as Touch 10 actually.
The largest, actually. You're very humble.
You're right. Okay, thank you. Yeah, we are one of the largest right now, and what's unique about our company is from the day one we set up our company in 2009, we set the vision of the company to be a sustainable company, sustainable game company. So from the first 2009 until now, we are still focusing on games because that's what our mission of the company mission is. We want to spread happiness through games. So we do many kind of products with various purpose, but the core is still games. And I said, in 2009 we do flash games, funny flash games, and then right now we do VR games. We still do web games as well, and then again we always strive because of the goals of the company is to be sustainable. Then we always innovate in our internal team to be really proactive to make games not only for fun purpose but also for any kind of purpose. Because on the one side, mobile games is advantage for us local player because mobile phone is mobile game ecosystem itself is only maybe happening 4 or 5 years ago. Mm-hmm. But on the other hand of game industry, if PC games, we are left behind 20, 30 years, right? But mobile games, we still can catch up, right?
Yep.
Right? And then, so that is our advantage.
Sure.
And
what's your favorite game?
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, too many talks. My favorite game, right now I play Don't Starve.
Don't Starve. Is that a mobile?
Yes, there is a mobile version, and yeah.
Don't Starve. Anybody know Don't Starve?
Oh,
nice.
Oh, okay.
Few people, okay. And the rest of you just play Candy Crush or...
Okay.
Okay, Tapan, yeah.
Thank you, Pa Anton. Hello, everyone. I am Tapan from VMAX. My job is simple. I help applications make money from all angles, from all ways they can make money. So that's my job, and so I have a lot of time for other hobbies like music and things like that. That's what I do. And I like so many games from Touch 10 and the cooking-based games, and there's so many of them. So Warung Chain is, of course, one of my favorite, and that's what I do.
Thank you, Tapan. Kevin?
Hi guys, I'm Kevin Pratama Simtan from AppToy. So what AppToy do, we are a third-party Android app store. Anyone can upload APKs to our platform and distribute the apps. So essentially, anyone can actually create their own app store on our platform. Yeah. So we also do white label. App store. So anyone that want to have their own branded app store can come talk to us, and we create own branded app store with your own brand, and content is powered by us. Okay. So for the favorite game, I would say is Plant vs Zombie.
Plant vs Zombie.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's quite a strategic and easy to play game too. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Dan.
Good afternoon.
Dan is not here, but Dan Clark is from a digital agency.
Maybe I'll introduce myself.
Sure.
My name's Dan, and I run a digital marketing consultancy company in Singapore, working with m-commerce and stuff like that. I've worked with the Singapore government, consulting them on how they can use mobile better to get their message out there. And I recently started working with a global agency called Creative that do iOS development, Android development, rapid prototyping, and things like that. So I have a strong camp in performance marketing and getting people to use your app and retention and that kind of stuff. And now working with development and prototyping and this kind of stuff. So my favorite game, I would have to say, I'm a little bit boring. My favorite game is probably still Angry Birds.
Angry Birds.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I spent so much time playing that game.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, I mean, we are really lucky right now because we are in the time where I call it the golden age of mobile gaming. If you see the trend in every country, in every region, mobile gaming is rising, and Southeast Asia, especially Indonesia, has been the most highlighted region in the world, according to a lot of reports, independent third-party reports. And here we are, blessed with the experts from Shieny from game development studio, Tapan from the ad mediation platform, Dan from the digital agency where people acquire users, and then the alternative third-party app stores from Aptoid, right? So I'm just going to ask one by one their insight of the innovation or what's next in mobile gaming. Maybe starting with Shieny, right? I think we just now speak a little bit. What are the challenges being a studio in Indonesia, making games for 7-8 years, right? What are the challenges and what are the next thing that you see? Maybe it can be a tool, it can be a strategy. What are the things that you see can help the challenges and the things that help in solving the challenge? Maybe keep it short because we have really little time.
Sure. Thank you. So the challenge for us, right?
Sure, for us, yes.
Yeah, for us.
Not for them, for us.
For us is obviously to compete with the foreign players,
right?
Because of like I said, the growth of the market itself in Indonesia of consumer mobile games is really huge, like 30-40%, from 2015 until 2016, because of the adoption of the smartphone, and then and then the growth of the market itself, most of them is absorbed by the foreign players, foreign games. There is that they just publish here and then that's it, right? So I think that's the challenge, and I think for the strategy to encounter that is again we have many population, huge population.
Right.
Then if we just can crack our own market, what kind of games that we that can can be outstanding compared to foreign games. I think that will be our secret weapon.
Sure. What kind of new things or innovation you think that you are doing right now to kind of beat the so-called foreign companies coming in? Yeah.
Right. One of the strategy to serve the local market is simple, the one that you do as well, partnering with other company.
Right.
It can be IP company, or for example Dagelan, right?
Yep.
That what you do. And then just recently we do games with a YouTube celebrity.
Right.
That is coincidentally he is also a son of the president.
Yeah.
And it's only 2 days. The downloads organically very it's quite good.
How much?
Right now, I think in the Google Play, I just checked 10,000 until 50,000.
Wow, only 2 days. And
only
just
2 days.
that. Right.
And then the retention rate also very high.
Nice.
And the rating also very high.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So for those of you who don't know, Agate worked with Kaisang. Kaisang is the son of Jokowi, our president, and they are making a game called Quiz Isang. Quiz Isang Kaisang, and he's the guy inside the game.
Right.
So our first family son has a game, and it's by you.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Thank you.
Okay, so yeah, thanks for the insight. And I think now going to Tapan. So Tapan, every day, right, you are making developer you're trying to help developer makes more money, and in a sense, you're also trying to find the right audience for advertisers, right? And having been to these countries, right? Not only Indonesia, I've been to a lot of countries. What do you think? What kind of innovation or what kind of new things that you think can make the game industry as a whole better? Like we've talked about this, and maybe you can share some of your insights.
Thank you, Paul. It's a very good question. So I look at this, I take a pretty complete industry perspective for gaming. It's making more than $500 million in advertising revenue and different ways of monetization. So I see it from an industry perspective. I think so we need more democratization. Now, here with you, Touchton, Agate, you have not just one game successful, but you have made all games that you've produced successful in a multi-production environment. Every game you see more than 1 million downloads. That's fantastic. Something like this kind of bringing local games for different segment like Indonesia 3 segment, Indonesia 2 segment, Indonesia 1 segment, how they pay. That kind of understanding is innovation. Second is we need to unlock multiple payment methods. Paying through operator, through credit cards, absolutely required for the industry. That's another form of innovation that's required. Again, another form of innovation which is required is multiple distribution places. Why do you distribute from one app store? Why don't you try out and enable multiple app stores to multiple ways of distribution? Another way is multiple ways of monetization. Why just use one ad network, two ad network? Why don't you plug with agencies, ad networks, DSPs, all of them together? And there's a certain point of time the freemium model works. After a certain point of time, the payment model starts kicking in. So those kind of innovation and enabling from the government perspective, that's again talked by the government folks in the morning, very, very, very well said. And those kind of things as an ecosystem coming together is what is the real innovation for the industry right now, which is needed.
Yep.
That's what I feel is very much needed from an industry perspective, opening up, democratizing it from all the angles, and bringing it always to the market is what I think.
So innovation not just in the technology side, but innovation in so-called democratizing the ecosystem.
Democratization, business models, and everything needs to open up.
I'm going to specifically drill down on what you are doing best right now with VMAX, which is what Touchton is using as well, ad mediation tool. So, a lot of users, end users like myself, dislike ads, right? How do you innovate, or what are the next big thing that you see in the ad world that's gonna kind of maybe make that disappear, the hate towards ads, or maybe new innovative ideas or something?
Thank you, Paul. So what we do is, now more revenue from ad doesn't mean more ads. It means ads in various formats, thought with the game and plugged in the game such that it doesn't disturb the user. It doesn't break the experience. And also, at the back end, if you can have a bidding platform which brings the content and context-relevant ads to the app, helps you bring out ads at a better price and still not disturb the user. So that's what we do for a living. More than 150 partners plugging in, providing you ads. But that's it.
Sure. Okay. Thanks, Tapan. So moving on next is Kevin. Kevin from Aptoid. So yeah, personally, I'm really curious about Aptoid because it says that you can have your own app stores, right? And what do you see? I mean, is this some kind of a new innovation that you think can make, what Tapan said, democratize the app users? And what do you think are the next big thing in your field in a third-party app store? Because usually people always think about the two big names, right? The Google Play app stores and the iOS Apple store. They doesn't really know. Maybe they know there are some, but so how can that be helpful?
Thanks for the question. So initially, how Aptoid come about is my CEO vision of sharing apps. So like music, Apple, the iTunes store already totally changed the game. So we want to distribute apps like how YouTube distribute videos. So anyone can actually upload APKs to the platform and distribute and create their own playlist. So I can give you an example that we have an Indonesian ambassador. So we found him on November 2015. So we asked him to create a store and upload APKs to his platform, to our platform with his store. So his store has about 2,000 apps right now, and his store itself generated 7 million download. Yeah, so I mean, I can't imagine that someone like me, a normal person, can actually upload apps, and the ecosystem actually accept it and download apps from it too. Yeah, so we just want to like improve the sharing process of the apps and the discovery process of it. Yeah, and like what Anton you mentioned, like what's so different between us third-party app store compared to the Google Play and iOS is we tend to listen to our users more. So because Android is very fragmented, there's like different like thousands over models using Android, and different phones have different requirements for Android, and not all the apps can be used. Not all the latest version can be used on the phone. So we have features on AppToy is called rollback. That means you can actually downgrade your app version to whatever version that suits your phone. So such features is what our users actually want us to do, and ways to like help them improve the app using experience. Yeah.
I see. So yeah, it's a new way to distribute your apps, share it.
Yeah. So it's more of a like, of course, we want your app to be on Google Play. That's the first thing you need to do.
Yes.
And for us, third party is like more alternative, different methods for you to distribute your apps. Yeah, for example, even in China, there's no Google Play, and there's like 500 over third-party app store in China.
I see.
Yeah, so like they are Android devices that come without the Google mobile services, and that's where we step in. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Kevin. I think next we have Dan. Dan works on a day-to-day basis to help clients, mobile or not, right, to acquire, retain, and monetize the users. And maybe just now we talk a little bit. Maybe he's going to share a little bit about about these methods, about how the industry is doing in terms of this. So Dan, perhaps you can share.
So a lot of app developers focus on kind of three milestones: retention on day 1, day 7, and day 30. Those are classic kind of milestones, and it's all about optimizing for a higher rate of retention. Particularly if you see a large drop-off on day 1, that can be quite disheartening. But what we've seen from our data is the drop-off after day 1 isn't the most important factor. What you really want to be looking for is what we call the fun ratio, which is the difference in in retention between day 7 and day 30. That's the killer. That shows you if your game has longevity or not. So it doesn't matter if you drop off more people in day 1. It's not necessarily that your game is useless. For example, Game of War, a very kind of famous game, has a day 1 retention rate of about 13%, which most people would say is quite poor and quite shocking. But come day 7, they have a retention rate of about 4%, and then by day 30, it's 3%. So the difference between day 7 and day 30 is very tight, and that shows you that's a game that has quite a lot of longevity. So that's quite an interesting thing to think about. Secondly, what we see a lot here with independent developers is that they're quite shallow in their game's depth of purchase of consumables or whatever. So a lot of Southeast Asian independent developers have games where you can purchase everything in the game for like $500. If you want to have an app that can keep kind of giving and keep kind of moving forward, you want to have a game where someone could conceivably spend $30,000+ a year. You know, particularly more with consumables that you can use in the game and then they're done. That kind of recurring purchase stuff. So don't be afraid to kind of reach out and do that. So yeah, the gap between retention rates of 70 and 30, that's really kind of quite a good insight to take. But on top of that, it's also, you know, we see Flappy Birds, a bunch of these games where they're kind of one-hit wonders.
Yep.
How do you avoid being a one-hit wonder? How do you take a game that's been successful and continue playing that forward, continue getting more and more out of that? So we see that with companies like Machine Zone, for example. They produce Mobile Strike and Game of War. And all they do essentially is take the same game and then reskin it, put a different skin on it, and then target it to a different demographic. So you're no longer cannibalizing the same kind of war simulation and then trying to bring out a completely new game with a new game engine and this kind of stuff. If you take, you know, where possible, if you take your one-hit wonder game and you reskin it and you repurpose it for a different target market, you can get, almost the same, if not more, kind of engagement and longevity out of that. So think about it that way. Don't always reinvent the wheel. Think about playing it that way. And then in the last few seconds, let's speak quickly about Pokemon Go. Pokemon Go was a huge game last year, but commercially not that successful because the in-game purchases are very low. The average revenue per user is very low.
Right.
They don't have the kind of, the aggressiveness of buying stuff to progress through the game. So the only reason that they're making money is because they have such a large number of users. They have a huge number of users, and that's why they're making money. But if they weren't Pokemon, if they didn't have that Pokemon franchise that's tied back to people's childhood, that game wouldn't have been anywhere near as successful. And finally, they didn't scale quick enough. They didn't have the infrastructure in place. It just got released in South Korea. Hands up in the room, who played Pokemon Go in the last month? Nobody, right? So there was barriers there. So yeah, my core takeaways would be day 7 to day 30 retention rate. That's your kind of fun ratio. That's really important. And don't be afraid to have the depth of purchase in your game to allow people to make more and more purchases. Those are my 2 core takeaways for you guys.
So the innovation is in the gameplay, how to maintain the day 7 to 30 drop, not so much, and also how you can kind of create a pipeline where you can just reskin or redo it.
Yeah, don't have all your stuff available for like $500 and it's done. You want to have kind of, imagine a consumer that has bottomless pockets, would they be willing to keep spending more each month or whatever to re-top up, to buy more bases, to buy whatever? That's where you really get your value.
All right. Thanks, Dan. Do we have time for questions? No time for questions. Okay. So it's finished? Maybe closing, just in closing very quickly from Dan, coming back to Shieny. Any message you want to tell to the audience about, they're obviously mobile industry related or even, any message or anything that you want to say? Yep.
Sure. If you're interested in monetizing your apps and getting better user retention, come and speak to me. If you're looking for mobile development, innovation, rapid prototyping, things like that. If you have an idea and you want to turn it into a prototype and test it and get market value, that's what my company specializes in. So come and speak to us.
Thanks, Dan. Kevin?
Quick one. So as an Android app store, developers are welcome to join us. It's a free of charge. We don't have any fees for you to upload your APK to our platform. And it's a probably 10 minutes process where your app is available on our platform. As long as no virus, no malware, pass all our security check, and your apps is ready for download. Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Kevin.
You've been a great audience, and your dreams, your endeavors are going to empower the mobile wave in Indonesia. I'm sure on that front, we have a great future.
Thank you. Tapan?
Okay, so final note from me, inspired by Dan actually. It's very clear call to action. So we at Agate always looking for partners, whether it's to develop games or just to help your whatever you have. For example, recently we are working with this e-commerce to increase their performance by our expertise. So let's talk.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. So for me, final note is thank you. You've been a great audience. I just want to say that in Indonesia, as an Indonesian, I want more local content, more local Indonesian developers to rise and shine and claim the market because this is our own country. If we don't do it, who else? So please help us in that endeavor. And thank you so much.
Thank you, Anton. I'm sorry, I don't want to be the Grinch who stole Christmas or the moderator or MC who stole question and answer session, but we are on a very limited time constraint. I'd like to call up on stage Prabhu from GMASA to present a little token of appreciation while I'm setting up my camera for the selfie contest of Global Mobile App Summit and Awards 2017. All right, timer on. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Anton. Thank you so much for keeping the time duration on schedule. All right, we've got a lot more panel discussions coming up. Before that, we have to take, Prabhu, can you join us for selfie, please? We have to take this selfie, and then I will have to announce a 5 minutes coffee break. All right, I'm getting used to this on timer. Can we get everyone? All right. 3, 2, 1. All right, thank you, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, Prabhu, thank you, Anton.